What's good? What's good? This is Ace Boogie from Ace Corner Talk. Peace. Hope all is well. Just want to talk, get a good build in today. Hope everybody is in good health, good spirits. Give me 1 second while I adjust everything that I have. I want to say peace to Queen C. She had a rough day today. And dealing with kids is not easy. Okay. So I'm going to say peace. Peace to wifey. Peace to Logic. Peace to the family. Peace to Ace Corner Talk family, Food, Clothing, Shelter family, Flat Earth family. All right, cool. Y'all see the title, right? Today we're gonna get into a bill. What's good, Munchie? Right. And I appreciate all the participation. Because we're gonna talk about some things. We're gonna get deep into some. We're gonna get deep into some things where we can share a lot of what people experience in their relationships, friendships. Miss Conceited Bristol, what's up? What's good with you? Peace to you. Yeah, we're gonna talk about these things and kind of analyze and break down some of these things. So y'all bear with me. You know, I'm gonna do some reading on y'all, get y'all involved. So hopefully we can converse about some of this stuff and kind of get an idea of the signs that we need to recognize when it comes to abusive people. What's up, Sean G? Thank you. The chat is filling up. Appreciate you. We're gonna need maximum support on this one. All my I ain't gonna say real brothers, but I'm gonna say all my brothers, let's stand up on this one. So and definitely we're gonna have Logic come on a little later and get him in. And if there's anybody that wanted to call in or anybody that wanted to actually give an input about something, feel free to do so. Number's 443-376-8842. So feel free to do so. If you did want to call in and say, hey, look, I wanna add something to what you're saying, or I want to bring out something you didn't bring out, just in case I'm not looking at that chat and I don't really pick it up. Then that way, if you do call in, I can kind of get a sense of what is being said. You feel me? Peace to everybody. Peace to everybody. So, signs of an abuser. Y'all like that? You see that? Love is not abuse. How about that? Y'all like that? Let me see something here. Let me see. Hold on. 1 second, y'all. I'm coming. All right, there we go. Got the full chat up because I can't even see. All right, cool. All right, good. So we ready. We ready. There she go. There my baby go. All right. Got some backup, y'all. No doubt. Queen is in the building. Got some backup. All right, cool. All right, let's do this. So, let me get into this real quick. All right, so we're talking about how to recognize the signs of an abuser, and y'all could take that in any direction you want to go with it. You know, you could take that in left, right, up, down. You can go in any direction and talk about how to recognize the signs of an abuser, right? And I'm not going to say it's only men. Women could abuse too. You know, women could be abusers too, to to in a relationship. You understand? Women can also do that. But for some reason, I feel led to talk about women in this particular aspect, and I will join men into the equation a little on down the line. But I did wanted to address women first and them being abused or in a abusive relationship, and how to recognize signs, how to before you actually get into relationships, how this is Ace. Hello? What happened? Okay, so we got people from Ohio calling in, playing games and stuff. See that? Yeah. Okay. So that's what you got to go through. So you got people from Ohio calling with all of this garbage. See, trolls are active, y'all. Trolls are active. As soon as I put the number in, here they go with the nonsense, right? But anyway, let's get to the build, because these people want to distract the build of what we're about to talk about. Because number one, they are abusers. Number two, they disrespect women. Number three, they don't know how to handle relationships. And number four, they don't have commitment. All right, so we're going to get into this. Maybe I don't need to answer the phones. Maybe I don't need to answer the phone. So the call was from Ohio, so obviously I already know who that was. Yeah, pretty much. Maybe I won't answer the phone. What's up, T. Smith? All right, so look, like I was about to do, let's get into this. One second so I can find it again. I lost it. Warning signs of abusive person. All right, cool. So, we're going to start with number one. The signs of an abusive person. Number one, jealousy. At the beginning of a relationship, an abusive person will always say that jealousy is a sign of love. I hope y'all can hear me. Can you hear me? Because I'm trying to stay upright. So they say at the beginning of a relationship, an abusive person will always say that jealousy is a sign of love. Jealousy has nothing to do with love. It's a sign of progressiveness and lack of trust. When you encounter a person that says the reason why I'm possessive over you is because I love you, that right there is a key sign that they have the tendencies of being a abusive person, because that's not the signs of love. Just because you're a possessor don't mean that you love me. But let's go deeper into this. All right, so I'm going to go into what are the signs of an abusive man. Extreme jealousy. My females out there, that's number one. Extreme jealousy. If they are over, if they are over jealous What's up, Jamaica Titan, my man? If they are extremely jealous, overzealous, over the top with everything. Why are you wearing this? Why is your skirt too short? Why you got that color lipstick on? Why is your shirt so low with your cleavage showing? Why is your hair cut that way? I mean, if they have all of these different things that they're bringing out that will show signs of them being jealous or over extremely jealous, then that's the signs of an abusive person. All right, hold on. Okay. Possessiveness. When they want to possess everything about you. When they want to possess you to the point where they want you to be a Stefford girlfriend, Stefford wife. You know what Stefford means? Like y'all do y'all remember the Stefford wife movie? How about that? The Stefford Wife movie. You remember how where it was like there was robots or something, and everything that the husbands wanted they did. So possessiveness, that's the only thing I can liken myself to think about. That's what comes to mind when you think about that. When you think about how they're over extreme way of communicating with you, right? Trying to show they love you, and in the way that they're doing it is saying that I'm possessive and this is how I'm showing I love you. But that's a sign of somebody that is an abuser. And I'm going to break this down real quick. Okay? When a person has not been trained how to love a person, right? What they do is they tend to subsidize those things with this type of behavior. You know, I'm teaching my boys how to be compassionate with the person that they potentially are going to have when they start to get of age, when they start getting their wives or girlfriend and wives and things like that, because I show it by how I treat my wife. I show them how to love their woman because of how I treat their mother and love their woman and love my wife. I'm teaching them how to have decent behavior when interacting. You know how I do that? It's because when we interact, our behavior is what it should be. We ain't fussing, fighting, cussing each other out and doing things that they could say or look at and pick up those tendencies and behaviors to become that when they get older. Yes, I don't care what y'all try to paint my relationship or... No doubt. Thanks, Logic. So no matter how you try to paint my relationship, you ain't in my relationship, but people try to. But we pride ourselves on that. Especially because we got boys. We got boys in the household. So I pride myself on how to handle myself a certain way. Because I don't want them to grow up to be that when they get older. I don't want them to be abusive. I don't want them to mistreat women. I don't want them to act out their aggression because of what they would probably see in the household. I pride myself off of that. Cruel to animals. Has a bad temper. Right? When unpredictability also. Come on, man. Abusive to animals, unpredictability, bad temper, extremely controlling behavior. Extremely controlling behavior. This is a sign of an abusive man. Especially if they're if their behavior to animals is bad, man, that should be a red flag. If you walking down the street holding hands with your boyfriend, and this joker kicks a dog, get away from here, and the dog ain't even bothering them. Could be a little scrawny mutt, just looking with a pitiful look on his face, needs some food, and he kicks the dog. That's a red flag right there. Something should jump out at you and say, well, man, why would you kick the dog? And the dog is just sitting there, ain't bothering you. Or kick a cat, and the cat ain't even messing with you. I mean, come on. I'm just giving you some scenarios to look for. Those things would be something that should jump out at you. If he would hurt an animal that is not in the pursuit to attack you or attacking anything, I would question that. Most serial killers start off by killing animals. Y'all remember the show Baxter? I mean, what was it? Dexter, not Baxter. Dexter. Remember how he was killing animals and all that stuff like that? And he was killing the animals, and then that's how he began his obsession with killing people. But it started off animals. Jeffrey Dahmer and all of that stuff. You listen to their stories, yeah, it talks about how they started off with the animals and took the liking to that and then graduated to human beings. But cruelty to animals, a bad temper. Now, this one is a tricky one. All right? All right, block this troll right here. Because you obviously know that's a troll. If they put strike YouTube and that's not in Spanish, then obviously. So what I'm saying is when you personally see somebody with this type of behavior and the tendencies to act this way, how they converse, how they communicate, if it's aggressive, if their communication with you is aggressive, if their tone with you is aggressive, those are signs of an abuser. Okay, people got tempers. I know that. Tempers can flare at any given moment when you're dealing with heated topics, when you're dealing with situations that might be a touchy situation. Okay, tempers can flare. But what I did wanted to say is, if you see the behavior being consistent, if the pattern of it is consistent, every single day is a temper. Not every day should be a temper. Come on, man. Every day you got a temper. Every day you lashing out. Every day it is a fight, fisticuffs. Every day. I mean, come on. When you analyzing this, at some particular time, you have to realize that it's not just saying the behavior at that particular moment, just because it flares up, does not mean it's going to consist. Now, an abuser will continue that. They will continue to have flared up tempers. They will continue to, because it's a form of control. First of all, form of control, intimidation. Those things, when your temper is constantly on the edge every single day, every single moment, those are signs of an abusive person. Facts. When you are dealing with relationship issues, family issues, friendship issues, if you are noticing a person not understanding how to conduct themselves, control themselves, have discipline when they're actually trying to convey their emotions or how they feel about a particular topic or a particular situation, not knowing how to control the aspect of what is being said and how they say it and convey it to you, then that person could be borderline abusive. Or 9 times out of 10, abusive. Because you can get in an argument, but don't mean you have to cuss, rant, swear, say all kind of hideous things to prove a point when you're trying, or when you're in an argument or a debate. I mean, it just doesn't have to go that direction. Some people allow it to go in that direction because they're used to being in that mode of abuse. And 9 times out of 10, if a person was used to being abused when they're young, they learn how to be the abuser when they get older. So it's a second, it's not even a second nature, it's a first nature to them. Soon as they feel that something is not going their way, or soon as they feel that whatever is not lined up with how they feel about it, they get right to the abuse. The way they talk to you, the way they slander you, the way they act to you, whatever, physically, mentally, emotionally, all of that comes out into play. And when you intertwine with these type of individuals, when you begin to deal with these individuals, it's very dangerous. It's very dangerous because they have not learned how to process reality and from the here and the now. They have not learned to say, you know what? Maybe I might need to calm my temper down because I might blank out, or I might take it too far and I might harm somebody, or might harm my loved one or my wife or my girlfriend. See, when you're dealing with people that have consistent behavior patterns of abuse, they're dangerous. Don't think these people are not dangerous. They're dangerous to society. They're dangerous to your loved ones, family. They're dangerous because they have patterned themselves after this behavior. So now, not only are they blocking out the reality, blocking out the conscious mind to say, you know what, maybe I need to stop my behavior, or stop my language, or stop my pursuit to harm somebody. They have overruled all of that, and now their behavior is out of control, so they will do these things on a consistent basis. Let me get back to some more facts, y'all. Okay, let me go to something to see. Give me 1 second while I pull up some more stuff here. This says, many people are interested in ways to predict whether they are about to become involved with someone who might be an abusive person. Abuse can occur in any type of relationship, whether it's in a heterosexual, lesbian, bisexual, pansexual, queen or gay relationship. Women, men, transgender people, gender queer people, all have the potential to be abusers or victims and survivors of abuse. So when you look at all of those different things I just named, it's not just one particular sex of people. It's not one particular heterosexual, bisexual, all of those things. It can come from any one of those aspects. And I'm going to tell you why. And I haven't even read the rest of it, but I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why. Because when it comes to the mental state of a human being or a person, that's where it streams from. The mental abuse that has been placed upon a person or put on a person, it streams from that. See, that's why it can come from any of those directions. It does not just say it's going to only be men or only be women. It can come from any one of those natures because it's an emotional thing. It can be a mental thing. And it can be a physical thing. When a person is controlling, At first, an abusive person will say that this behavior results from a concern about the victim's safety. The victim needs to use their time well or to make a good decision. The abusive person will be angry if the victim is late coming back from the store. These are just scenarios. They will also get worse. An abusive person may not let the victim make personal decisions. Okay, let's get right there. They may not allow you to make personal decisions. If you are with somebody and they're having a hard time allowing you as an individual to make personal decisions about your life, about what you do day to day, that's an abusive person. You know, don't be the type of female, oh girl, he's so controlling. I love that. Don't think that's a cute thing for a man to be controlling over you. I don't think that's normal. The pattern after that is not normal. Oh girl, he like to tell me what to do. I mean, come on. That right there is not something that you would find to be healthy in a relationship. That just lets me know that individual has control issues. And then what happens if they can't control you? Then they'll physically try to dominate you. They'll try to dominate you. If they cannot get the results out of mentally controlling you, then what happens? The next result is to physically control you. I'm going to dominate the person that I'm dealing with through physical means because I might be stronger. My stature might be bigger than her. My muscles, my whatever. Okay? And then they'll target it from that point to try to control you. Okay, this says number 3, quick involvement. Many people who have experienced abuse knew their abuser from a short time before they intertwine a relationship with them. The abusive person comes on like a whirlwind, claiming, "You're the only person I could ever talk to, or I have never felt love like this by anyone." Have you ever heard somebody say that, y'all? Have you ever heard a male say that? I ain't never felt no love like this. You the only one that loved me like this. I ain't never had no love like that. That right there is a sign of an abusive person. You know? That's a sign of an abusive person. Miss Chrissy Bristol says, she says, I can relate. June, this year is a year that I left a 15-year abusive relationship. Well, first of all, I want to say I'm proud that you made that step. And this is the first time I said it out, or said it out loud. She put an emoji. I'm glad I left because my life was being threatened. She said it was hard to leave them type of people because they was always trying to find a way. They was always trying to find a way to you. I had to change everything and who I talked to. So, okay. And since I left, my life has been good. I'm good. No doubt. Well, I just wanted to say I applaud you. I want to say that was a great thing for you to actually exit out of a relationship and being in that long. Like, look, being in a relationship that long, it only gets difficult to actually get out the relationship because, you know, your feelings are attached. You know, there's a whole lot involved. And I wish I had a female to call in to actually give some of the reasons why they probably would have stayed in the relationship. Because one thing I can just think about is maybe the feelings are attached. You have deep feelings. Now, outside of that, I don't know how to really come from a woman's point of view. I can only just imagine what it could be. So, if anytime any females wanted to call in just to kind of, you know, give a different perspective of it, then that's cool. I would appreciate it. But Miss Tiffany says, I find that a lot of men will not deal with women who they cannot control. I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. I mean, I think a lot of times when you look at relationships and how people come together, more or less, they say the opposites attract, but I don't know if it's something within an individual that gives off the impression, thank you, y'all, that gives off the impression that you are the type of person that would take the abuse. See, because there's people that will enable abuse. They will take the abuse knowing that they should get out of the equation, out of this situation, but they'll take that abuse because maybe they have been used to being conditioned to be abused. That these things are real. It's crazy as it sounds. And I see, logic. Maybe somebody needed to mute their system or something. So maybe that they've been used to being conditioned to being abused. So that if somebody, see, an abuser can find out abuser can find out or use certain words to find out whether you are the type of person that would accept the abuse from them. You feel me? Abuser can use certain words to draw you in so that they can get a sense of, are you the type of person? See, when you're dealing with a strong-minded female or person, I don't think that an abusive person knows that they'll be able to get over or pull things over a strong-minded female. This is just my belief, because a strong-minded female will not take that. See, an abuser don't want the back and forth. An abuser don't want a female, or abusive man rather, don't want a female to actually go back and forth with them, threaten them. I'm gonna cut you, bust you over the head with a pan, all that abusive stuff. See, they don't want that. An abusive person wants somebody that'll go along with everything, take the abuse, shut up, and just deal with it. You know what I mean? If you was dealing with a person, a female, that will go back and forth with you, it's too much work. An abusive person don't like to work. That's the first thing. They don't like to put in no work. They want you to just take everything they give you so they can feel in control at all times. One thing about an abusive man, he hates to be out of control. Meaning not out of control like with the behavior of doing things, but out of control meaning they don't have control of a situation. If they don't have control at all times and of every aspect or part of their life, then they will be out of control. They will feel like they're out of control. So the way that an abusive person can keep control is through their dominance, through their manipulation. Think about these people that be on YouTube. If you cursing at females, I'm going to give y'all the signs. Even right, see, I'm going to use YouTube because we're on YouTube now. And I'm going to give you the signs of abusive men that be on YouTube. If you can outright bash females, first thing, let's get right to it. All right, let's get right to the nature of this right here. All right, let me go ahead and block this idiot. I'll do the honors on this one. Let me do the honors. Thankful Sunday. You want to do the honors? Go ahead and block that idiot. All right. So an abusive person. You see how we be trolled? They love me, y'all. These abusive men and these abusive YouTubers, they're obsessed with me. But anyway, so when people like these individuals on YouTube begin to abuse, look at the language that they use. Look at how they can talk about females. Look at how they can bash females, make live stream about females, even if these females are in the wrong, even if these females do things that you don't like. The mere fact that you can get on and make live streams, bash, slander, call them names, call them call them all kind of insane insanity word, like the mere fact that you can do all of that lets me know that anybody that's attached to you that's a female, whether it's your wife, girlfriend, loved ones, whatever, I can 100% guarantee that they're being abused by you. 100%. Because an abusive person, the first thing they're going to do is think about the nature of the female that they're dealing with. That's facts, y'all. They're going to think about the nature. Not saying that you're beneath a man, not saying that you're above the man, but they're going to say, you know what? Me as a male, being a alpha male, being an aggressor, even if you're not an aggressive male, but just the male and female aspect of it, there's differences there. There's differences there, period. There's differences there. You know? And the mere fact that if that don't even strike your mind or come across your mind before you begin to rant, rave, say things, act out, bash, slander, all of that stuff. Before you even get to that point, if just the mere fact that there's differences between you as a male and her as a female lets me know that you're an abuser. Just lets me know your abusive ways does not begin with you two. It just ends with you two. And it started in your life. I already know trolls was going to come out on this one, especially the ones that abuse women. I already know that. I already knew this type of live stream was going to call out the trolls. Because they hate to admit that when you bring up these type of topics, it puts them on the spot. It puts these type of individuals on the spot, and it sheds a light on them. It sheds a light on their behavior. So now what I'm doing is I'm allowing y'all to identify this type of behavior with these type of individuals, not just on YouTube, but I'm talking about in our lives, the people that we may know, the friends we may know, the relatives we may know. These type of behaviors are now being exposed so you can say, you know what? I understand your conversation and I appreciate it, but I'm not willing to accept your abuse. And I'm waiting on Logic to actually come in to build on this particular topic whenever he's able to, so he can help put some ideas onto the platform. Also, when you deal with individuals that may not, in some degree, may not have the capacity to control the behavior, then they begin to exhibit the behavior of somebody that is a pathological liar. They will start to do deranged things, and they will appear that they might not be within themselves. Okay, if you're looking at somebody that is an abusive person, look at their behavior and how they maneuver themselves. Look at, they can't keep still. They're fidgeting. They it's like something in their mind. It's like a war in their mind. Look at the behavior of these people. Look how they conduct themselves when they're interacting with you. Because I'm talking to the sisters out there, man, so we can just, be a voice for them sisters that are out there that are under the hand of abusive men, under the hand of abusive family members, loved ones. You understand? We need to be able to be a voice for people that fall under those guidelines of people who show this type of behavior consistently. I'm not just saying you and your boyfriend had an argument and that was that. I'm just talking about somebody that exhibits this type of behavior on a consistent basis. Now, if it's somebody you just meeting and you're getting ready to be in a relationship with them and you're wondering whether this person will be good enough to bring around your kids, whether this, not say good enough, but whether they would be suitable and whether they would be whether it would be a good fit for them to be around your family or your kids. At what point in time do you think it should be justified for you to do that? Single mothers, I'm going to address it like this, you know, because what I'm doing now, this is not going to be something where we're coming against women. This is going to be something that we're helping and exposing men. So when I say what I'm saying, this is not to put any type of feelings on a female to make them feel like, oh, no, this is not that. This is me just explaining some of the things that we need to be aware of and how we can open our eyes to these. So check this out. Okay, so if you're a female, right, and you are dating a particular gentleman in your life, at what point in time do you think it would be good enough for you to bring those kids or the gentleman around the kids in their life? Like, what would be suitable, or what would be something realistic that you can do that? Hold on, y'all. Yeah, we gonna get into that. I talked about women being abusers too, and hopefully maybe Logic will come in because I want his opinion because he shared some things, and I know he don't mind me saying this, but he shared a little bit about maybe his upbringing with his mother and this and that. And I'm not saying this out of my mouth that this happened to him. All I'm saying is I would like to have him clarify and maybe some of his experiences he had, he can share it. And I only brought the mother because that's the only thing I've heard him say. So I can't tell nobody else's life story, testimony, or anything else. That's why if he comes, then he can just share anything he would like, and I'll let him go into the men being abused. I'll stick with the women. When my brother come, I'll let him sort of like guideline the women, and I'll chime in on that. But all right. So Munchie Best Eye says 2 to 3 months. In 2 to 3 months, you can learn a lot. Okay. And so what you're saying is in 2 to 3 months, you're able to start introducing your kids to somebody that you met, or you're saying in 2 to 3 months, that'll be a time where you can start noticing behaviors and patterns. All right. I want to be clear about what you're saying so nobody gets the wrong idea about what you're saying that might be hearing what I'm saying, but not in the chat to view what I'm saying. So, me personally, I don't know. I think within the first, and see, people move fast when it comes to relationships. They get together, then the first thing they move them in, then the second thing they got them around. Like it's like a lot of that is happening in the here and the now. Like it's kind of crazy, but people do this. People will meet somebody 1 week, 2, 3 weeks later, they're living together. Not even given the time of the process of courtship, might be old-fashioned, but maybe courtship or the process of getting to know the individual. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll move him in, and then all of a sudden they find out that this dude is Freddy Krueger, and now they want to get him out the house, and now they got restraining orders and family members looking for him. Like, so it's kind of like you go through the process of meeting. Then I think it should be a time that you gradually allow the individual to start holding responsibilities. And let me explain this, y'all. This might go over your head, but I know I got a bunch of intelligent folks that are in this chat right now, y'all are intelligent. So I already know y'all gonna catch on to what I'm about to say. Okay, cool. When I say responsibility, I would say give the person something. Give them some responsibility as far as give them something that they can deal with and see how they handle it. See how they handle the things that that you put into their hands. See if they misuse it. See if they don't care about it. See if they don't put any attention on it or pay you any mind. Like those type of things, I think you should do within a certain time of the relationship to see how if they drop the ball or if they have compassion about what you're bringing forward. Like, do y'all get that? Facts. I agree with you, Tiffany Smith. Facts. Do y'all agree with that to some degree? Do you agree that it would be good? What's up, Charles Wells? Good. Peace, bro. Do you agree that it would be good to give them some type of trial and error about how they handle something that might be dear to you? I mean, come on. Let's get real. If somebody, 6 months, okay? Thankful Sunday put 6 months. So you think 6 months would be a nice, good stream of time where you can introduce them to your kids? Much best, I says 2 to 3 months to learn about a man. After 6 months, then you can introduce them to your kids. Okay, I see what you said, and now I'm gonna say this. Do it depends on the age of the children. Let's get to the age of the child, because when you're dealing with younger kids, their perception and how they gravitate to adults are different than older kids. Because I would say, if you have a 17 or 18-year-old still living with you, or a 16-year-old, 17, 18-year-old, introduce them in an earlier stage of your relationship, because they can give you the most honest opinion about the person you're bringing into their life. They'll tell you right away, Mom, I don't like him. They'll tell you, Mom, this dude is weird. Mom, I don't like the way he looks at me. Mom, this dude is a stalker. Mom, this dude, like, they'll give you the honest opinion. Or the dude or the young man, or your son rather, excuse me, would say, Mom, I don't like this cat, man. He I don't know, something about him. See, an older child or siblings could give you that intuition from a child's point of view, rather than a small child. A small child could be receptive. They'll adjust to the person you bring into their life. See, children learn how to make the adjustments. When they're young, they'll adjust to all of that. You bring a dude around, and then all of a sudden, you know, he might bring them a candy here, candy there, then they'll adjust to those kind of things. But an older child, 16, 17, 18, whatever, they'll give you the real deal right up front. No games playing. They'll tell you whether they like them or not, or whether they are picking up something that they may feel is wrong. They'll give you that. And I think the age difference plays a major role into the introduction to a new person that will potentially be a part of your life. Now, when you Tiffany Smith, bipolar man who hides his disorder. Okay, now if somebody has medical issues, I would think that would be something that you would want to know and ask up front. So, what you think? What some people might think it might be offensive to ask somebody what is their medical background, but I think that's the more or less proper and decent thing to do is to ask somebody, hey, you know, what's the history of your background? Like, you know, what kind of medical history is in attached to your life. You feel me? So, hold on. Hold on, y'all. For some reason. All right, Tiffany Smith. Hey, man, I'm trying to make you a mod because I know I'm trying to make you a mod, but it ain't letting me for some reason. I'll do it later, all right? I won't forget. Because you was modded up, but I think my changes in my computer changed it where it blocked it, kicked out a lot of the mods. So Charles was, y'all was mods on my page, and I definitely, matter of fact, hold on. Oh, got you. All right, I'm about to add y'all as the mods because y'all was mods, and my changeover on my computer kicked y'all out. All right. So let me All right, let me get in. Okay, cool. All right, so I got y'all back modded up again, all right? So now, getting back to what I was saying. And I kind of got off track, all right? When your kids are young, they're susceptible to accepting they're susceptible accepting adults, right? Now, when they start to get older is when they start to get the intuition about the good and the bad, the right and the wrong, this is right, this is wrong. As they start to get up into that age, you can basically start to train them and talk to them about these type of things. Now, when you're dealing with older children, they'll get right to the point. I don't think they'll hold back a lot of their tongue, and especially if there are expressive kids. Now, if you have expressive kids, they will definitely get right to the point. 9 times out of 10, I've seen this on a lot of occasions where kids are very expressive about how they feel about a situation. Mom, I don't like this. Dad, I don't like this. Mom, blah, 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 blah. You know? So I think there is an age difference and an age bracket that it should be before you introduce your kids. When they're at a younger age, I think you should be more protective of allowing them to meet somebody that you have not known for years. I think that, you should be more protective and more safeguarded, rather, when you deal with that. Because, people will disguise themselves. People will try to, people will disguise themselves. They will try to train themselves to be abusive, but go undetected. Okay? When people try to disguise the abuse, of course they're going to say all the right things. An abusive man will say all the right things when it comes to being abusive. They're going to go into all of the right words to say. They're gonna articulate their words, and they're gonna be smooth, Ricky with the pretty hair and all that stuff like that. They're going to do every and anything to win you over with what they say. That could be borderline covering up abuse. Okay? That's borderline abuse. Now, if a person, if you just meeting a dude and he is respectful to how he is intertwining, that's different. But if he trying to, yeah, baby, yeah, you might, and all of that stuff, you can tell, come on, females know that stuff. Come on, man. Let's get real. Females know how that works. And when they got to go into those extra antics to be able to prove that they are the ones that you should be with, how smooth they are, then you got to question that is there something else behind that? And most likely it's going to be abuse. Because they have to win your love first. Dudes got to try to win the love from the female that they want. They got to win the love first. They want you deeply in love with them. After that, then comes the abuse. Because once they feel like they got you under their grips, that you ain't going nowhere, then they can start their abuse. You understand? They can start the process of abuse and breaking down your mental, breaking down your emotions, breaking down who you are as a human being. They will just strip you of everything that people used to see in you. They will strip you of all of that and break you down to nothing. When people see you, they won't even recognize you no more. You ain't doing your hair no more. You ain't doing your nails no more. You ain't going out with your girls no more. You ain't even talking to people anymore. They try to isolate you from being around anybody that will be able to pump some sense into your head and that will be able to bring you to reality about the relationship that you're in. But no, girl, you don't know him like I know him. See? He will get you justifying his behavior. Well, he's not like that all the time. And then your girl be like, well, every time we go out to dinner and we in a group, this dude is leaning on you. Or this dude is acting some kind of way to you in front of people. Those behaviors are signs, man. If a dude would disrespect you in the open in front of your family, kids, or in front of your friends, come on. I mean, come on, man. That is a for sure sign that this dude behind closed doors is putting them uppercuts and wheel kicks and leg drops on you. You see? That's that right there is a for sure sign that the individual is definitely elbow dropping you in the bedroom. Bam. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being real. Because if he can disrespect you in front of people, front of your family, front of your kids, then I'll be stupid not to believe that this man is uppercutting and jabbing you, straight jabbing you in the bedroom. Like, come on, man. It just don't work that way. The Ike and Tina Turner, you know, you seen how the abuse started off with the Ike and Tina Turner thing? To be comical, I should put a little bit of that up. I just might do that. Let me see. I'm going to pull the scene up. Y'all give me 1 second. But I'm going to keep talking while I'm doing it. I can do 2 things. I am capable of doing 2 or 3 things at one time. So I'm going to keep talking while I'm pulling up some just for laughs and giggles. Okay. Now, so you got to recognize those things. If he will disrespect you, hold on. If he would disrespect you in front of your kids, then what makes you think the next step will be disrespect? I want to bring this point up. Okay, check this out. Now, if a man gets in an argument with your parents, let's get to this real quick. Let's get to this, all right? Because we need to okay. I want to get to this. I want to get to this. Whoa, wait a minute, y'all. Okay, now check this out. If a man gets in an argument with your parents, right? Let's get to that real quick. If a man get in an argument with your parents, and he gets to arguing with your mother, right? Let's check it like this. Would you call that abuse? Or would you call that him trying to defend essence of what he say? Like, what would you call that? Or if he gets in an argument with your father, and y'all, and then you and him and his father going, and him and the father going back and forth, what would you classify that as? Because I was in a situation at one point in time where I had to learn how to have compassion. I had to learn how to be able to deal with my mother-in-law. Not that she was an outright spoken mother-in-law, but she loved her daughter, and she loves her daughter. So being protective of her daughter, me not understanding that relationship of how that worked, I had to eventually understand that that's a bond. Not that she's trying to get into the business, not that she's trying to rule my household. See, because as a married man, the first thing you're going to say, I don't want nobody ruling my household, and this is me, I'm the man of the house, and blah, 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 blah. But then I had to realize that it's not that. It's a bond there that will never be separated. So the fact that I was perceiving a certain thing a certain way, I felt like, whoa, wait a minute. Now is the time for me to understand how the bond works between mother and daughter. Okay? And that's lessons that I learned. Not that me and her mother got into these arguments, no. But I could just remember that there was a time when I didn't understand that. See, I had to mature as a husband. You understand? See, Ace will be real with y'all. I'm not going to come on here and do all of this phony stuff and act like Ace ain't never been through nothing in life. See, me and Queen C are real. We ain't going to do stuff like that. But like I said, you know, that... come on. All right, I got it up for y'all. So I'm only going to geek with y'all on this for a few minutes. But like I said, you know, I had to learn that as a husband, that's a bond. And I don't want to come between something like that. That's a bond. That is a healthy bond between a mother and daughter. Should stay there. But see, when I was taught from being younger is that the man is the man of the household and nobody should rule his household, he's the man. That's the thought that I had. So anytime I felt like if she had any input, I would say, this is my household, I'm the man. You know, not that I was aggressive with it, but I would state, hey, I'm the man, you know, this is my household, I'm the ruler of the house. But no, I had to learn that I can't take that approach because that's her daughter. That relationship will never be separated. You understand? That's a bond that should never be separated. Now, if any man tries to separate that bond, then the behavior is an abusive type of behavior. Okay? That's what I'm getting at. I'm not an abusive man, but what I did had to do is I had to understand the relationship and how that works. You feel me? I had to understand how that relationship works. I had to understand that in relationships, you gotta recognize the bond. Just like an abusive man trying to separate her kids from her. It's chilly in Tennessee. Okay? What man would want to separate the mother from the kids? An abusive one. Think about that, y'all. When a man is in a relationship, watch how he intertwines in the interactions between you and your kids. Is he getting jealous because you want to go hang out and chill with your kids at the park? Is he getting mad when you want to spend quality time with your kid. Like, these things are signs that you should be aware of. And if you're not, we're going to make you aware of it today. And when Logic get in here, we're going to let him go in on the other half of this. So, one second, y'all. So, like I was saying, we have to start opening our eyes to the reality about who we let into our lives. And I'm mainly talking to my sisters out here because I see this YouTube stuff getting out of control with women outright disrespecting women out in the open like it ain't nothing. Like this is what men supposed to do. And I'm gonna be the first one to champion against this. I'm gonna be the first one to speak out against this because that type of behavior is definitely not supported. Never will I support that type of behavior. Never will I condone that type of behavior. And any man that do it, I think he's weak. I think he's soft, weak, and any other words you can use to describe an individual that will make a live stream about a female, that will call her out her name, that will disrespect her kids, disrespect how many kids she has, and any of the sort. They are weak. And you can tell them I said it personally. They're weak because men don't bash women before the public to shame them. This ain't the 1870s, shaming women with bells around their neck, walking around the crowd. This ain't back in the biblical days. We in the here and the now. And women don't deserve that type of disrespect. And the mere fact that a man would even get on YouTube and do something like that lets me know that these people, whatever females they have in their life, they're used to treating them that way. Well, I know y'all don't like me to talk and bring those facts up, but it's the truth.
Hey, you better come back over here so I can get some sleep now.
Straight the hell out.
Hey, where you going? Come on now, get in the car now. Come on, tax. Look, you ain't going shopping. You want to go shopping? I had a man take you shopping. Woman, I take you to your ass in this car. I ain't playing with you there. Hey, call me when you're ready to go to town. Hey, don't worry about it now. Make sure everybody be on this phone. All right. What's wrong with you? Talking to me like that? Huh? What'd you say?
Don't start with me. I ain't in the mood today, all right?
Oh, you ain't in the mood? Don't you ever talk to me like that again. You hear me? Huh? You hear me? Sure, you don't never talk to me like that.
No,
Come here. What? Huh?
no.
Let me show you something.
No.
Talk to me like that.
Uh-oh. She got one up on him. She got one up on him, y'all. You see what Tina did? All right, let me get the brother in here. My bro Elijah. Let me get brother in here. Hold on. Hey, what you doing over there? Well,
Oh no, I'm trying to.
hey, let me know when you're ready, and I'll go ahead and jump you in there, and we'll go from there. But I'm giving the Hey, I'm not laughing at the abuse, but I'm laughing because they played this scene and role. They played it perfect. So I'm laughing at that, not laughing at them being abusive to each other. But I'm just laughing about they played it to the T. This is like, you can look at this and say, man, this is believable.
Come on. Thank you.
Can I call you a doctor? Oh, man, don't nobody need no damn doctor. Where the elevator at? chicken. That'll make.
So, all right, you want me to pat you in, bro?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. So now, let me see something. Hold on, hold tight. All right, so check it. So now you see that behavior of him beating on her in the limo. See, those behaviors was behaviors that was happening on a consistent basis. So it didn't matter that the limo driver was in there. It didn't matter that they was walking across the street arguing and beating on each other. Like, those things were behaviors that were practiced. You see what I'm saying? Those behaviors were tendencies that she should have took notice of at one particular time. It was dangerous in that limo, man. It was dangerous. He took a shoe off. Now, what if he hit her in the head with the what if he hit her in the head with that shoe and hit her in the temple or something and killed her? Like, that's why I said that behavior is dangerous, people. This stuff ain't nothing to play with. What time is it? Hold on. Man, time flying. So, that type of behavior is dangerous, man. You just can't say that, oh, he just hit me one time, or, oh, it was just a little tap here. Because those things will eventually begin to increase. Those behaviors will eventually begin to increase and get more dangerous for you as the female. You feel me? All right, so Logic. So I wanted to ask. Now, I'm going to let you address the males being abused by females. And I don't know if you heard me say, excuse me. Excuse me. I don't know if you heard me say earlier that I remember you saying some of your childhood, and I just brought mother. I didn't say your mother did or didn't, or none of that. I just remember childhood, mother, and so forth. Is there any particular incidences that you can bring up that you can say, you know what, the males were in that role? Or had that happen?
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly. Hold on, let me make sure. Hold on, I think I got.
Yeah, I see the bar moving up.
All right,
good.
All right, cool.
Yeah, the thing about this is that, you know what I'm saying, I mean, when you cover this, you got to realize that abuse is something that was taught or obtained in life. Like, is a baby, and I always say this all the time, a baby don't inherit these tendencies. They're either taught it by their parents or their environment. So now, by them being constantly taught these tendencies, I heard you say that, you know what I'm saying? What it is that we're looking at is we dealing with that these individuals are emotionally damaged. Now, if you look at it, you got to look at the most abusive type situations that you'll find. You know what I'm saying? Normally you'll look at it, you know what I'm saying, it'll be abuse, you know what I'm saying, through the you know what I'm saying, they'll be abusing women, they'll be abusing kids, they'll be abusing men, and it goes both ways. You know what I'm saying? Men and women get abused. You know what I'm saying? We just said adults get abused. They'll abuse adults, they'll abuse kids, and then watch this. They even abuse nature and animals. So now you ask yourself, why do these people that's emotionally damaged like this, you know what I'm saying, they tend to go to abuse? And you can realize they get it from their environment.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when I was coming up, you know what I'm saying, I didn't have a father around. So now you'll see some of the typical tendencies, you know what, they're saying that, I mean, and everybody knows this. You know what I'm saying? There's no new news. You know what I'm saying? That if you have a hurt black woman in a relationship, which my father was the one that hurt my mom, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. I wasn't old enough to really understand. But the thing about it is we realize this, is she would sell him to the the enemy. She was saying him to be this criminal. She was saying him to be that. So now, when you realize when these men grow up until they pull themselves out of that environment, they will carry on them same tendencies. Right. See, the most grateful thing, people can say all kind of stuff about me being in the military. But the most powerful thing that happened to me about me being in the military, it pulled me out of my environment I was raised in. So now I was able to make decisions, and I was able to look at things that work.
Okay.
That if I stayed in my environment, I would be looking at people that's in the same situation that I was in.
Right.
So now, I mean, and that's it. It's like, I mean, when you look at it, at the end of the day, everybody, you know what I'm saying, in certain environments get abused. They get abused. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times we have abusive tendencies and we don't know about it. We don't know about the abusive tendencies we have. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times we learn them through our environment. We learn them through how we was raised. We learn them through, you know what I'm saying, the environment that we was raised in. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's why you can tell certain things. You can tell certain things from a person based on the environment. You got to look at this. You heard the saying that you can tell a lot by a woman by how her house looks. You see what I'm saying? You ever heard that tendency?
Yeah, I heard that before.
Yeah. So now the same thing too, though. You can tell a lot by a man about how he lives. You know what I'm saying? If a man, think about this. If a man live in a destructive manner, and it can be simple as some as simple as not being neat, not being clean. You know what I'm saying? If he live in that destructive environment, his environment is it reflects what he is.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
You deal with that. And so now when you say a lot of times, we see the signs. We see the signs all the time.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, I mean, come on now. If I allow trash to be all over my front yard, I allow trash bags to seep over, you know what I'm saying? And I'm using this as an example, right? Mm-hmm. I allow this to be in my front yard, in my house right now. How do the inside of my house look? It's gonna look similar.
Right.
Now, the thing about this is that destructive mentality that we have, that's where abuse comes from. That's the baseline of abuse. Living in these destructive environments, it breeds the abuse that they pass on. Fact. Because now, perfect example, me and you, we get attacked on YouTube. Attacked so much. Saying how broke we is, saying that we gay, saying that we not happy, saying that we haven't done anything with our life. Now, watch this. We get this abuse, and they try to push this emotional abuse on us. But what people need to look at is just that brother crying out for help.
Facts.
Because the only thing he can do is he can try to reflect his environment on us.
Facts.
And try to abuse us. Now, that's the same way. That's when a woman get beat. When a woman get beat, it's a man trying to do the exact same thing. Put his pain on her.
Facts.
Make her feel how he feel.
Facts, man. I'm glad.
And we get banged on every time on YouTube. And then people look at it like it's a form, like it's emotional. It's no emotion to me. Because I don't know the guys that's abusing me on YouTube. So now, but what it does, it shows you that it's a reflection of that person. And then now you can relate that to they living situation. How do they live? What do they live at? You know what I'm saying? So now it's certain things that you can tell, and I'm saying this to the women and men that might be watching this show right now. You can tell a lot by a man and a woman about how they carry themselves and how they live. I'll fall back and let you go ahead and build on that.
Man, Dan, that was beautiful the way you just put that, man. Definitely beautiful the way you put that. And like it says, love is not abuse. See, what I'm attempting to do now is to separate love and abuse. I'm attempting to separate the two, because anytime you hear love and abuse together, they think that that's something that should be equated with each other. And like I read earlier, those two things are not supposed to be in the same sentences. Love does not mean abuse, does not mean abusing somebody, does not mean that's love. That's not a way, that's an unhealthy way to show love, but that's not love. It's not love, y'all. When you run and you abuse people and you turn around and say, I love you, how can you say you love them when you are tearing them down at the same time? Like, how can you honestly say I love somebody and you care for them when you're tearing them down in the next sentence and trying to destroy them? Destroy their inner person, trying to destroy the character, trying to destroy anything that could remotely resemble who they used to be as a human being. Like, come on, let's get real. I Jamaica Titan, peace, bro. Let's get real. If you actually think about this, if you actually just analyze this and put it on the table and let's dissect it, is that really love? Is this how you incorporate love to show somebody you say you respect, somebody you care for, somebody you go all out or be there? I don't think that that's the way that's how it's handled. I don't think so. I'm sorry. That's not the way it's handled. That's not the way any healthy, sane person deals with these things, man. Come on, we gotta look at it from the right perspective. And it's sad that men would treat women this way, and it's sad that women would treat men this way. And it's sad because it's unhealthy. It's unhealthy to our environments. It's unhealthy to our families. It's unhealthy in any and everything that we do. Facts, y'all. And learning how to have compassion for your loved ones, learning how to have compassion for the people in your life, it's something you got to work on. If you see abusive behavior, don't think you can change it. You can't change somebody else's behavior. See, women think that, oh, if they see those signs, oh, I can change him, girl, or I could change that man. You can't change that. There's nothing you can do to change it. You're going to become a victim of it before you change it. How about that? What you think about that, Logic? You'll become a victim before you think you're going to change a man's abusive behavior. That's what I'm saying.
You're right. And see, I'm going to bring some, see, Tiffany brought up a point, though, and she's actually right. Abusers are not always sloppy. But I guarantee you, if you do the math, and this is what I'm saying when and understand what I'm saying, sister, is that you have, I guarantee you this, abuser was raised in a destructive environment.
Right.
So now, when I'm saying that in a destructive environment, it's like that's where they get this from. We got to understand this, is that all these sick behaviors that we see going on today is not inherited. It's not something that's in your DNA. I don't care what young Pharaoh tell you. I don't care what Sarah Hussein tell you. Sickness, these sickness that we see today is nothing that's inherited. You don't got DNA to say you sick. They tell you that white man is sick by DNA. No. If they're doing something, it's taught. So now, exactly, Jamaican type. Now it's by us being taught. Then now we need to backtrack it. And then now, a lot of times, when you're looking at the inner city communities, you have and you see a lot of this stuff comes from the environment. Right. Comes from the environment. And then now, I'm speaking from experience because my environment taught me so much. My environment taught me how to treat a female. My environment taught me how to manipulate people. My environment taught me this. Once I got out of that environment and I understood that them skills that I so-called had when I was raised was absurd. And I started learning, I started building, I started growing as a man, and I became a man. And when I say became a man, not becoming a man by age. So, hold on 1 minute. And not coming a man by age. You know what I'm saying? When I became a man and I started really dissecting and understanding my past, I started understanding why I got things from, where I got this mentality from. Then I started learning. And now, like I said, the best thing that ever happened to me is for me to get out of that environment. And once I got out of that environment, I understood really that a lot of stuff that was so-called me, you know what I'm saying? A lot of tendencies I had, it was stuff that I was taught. And then now, a lot of times it's bought over. And then now, and I'm not saying you got to be in the inner city to have these violent behaviors. You can, you know what I'm saying? You can have it there, but I guarantee you this. It existed in the households.
Now, that's what I'll thank you. Thank you for clarifying that. Go ahead. I'm not going to stop you. Yeah. I'll go to it.
It's existing household. And when I'm saying environment, people, listen, a household is an environment. It's something that where you're at. You're constantly in your household. You're going to pick up the tendencies of that household. And you're going to start actually taking that. If I got a kid, just use this for example. If you go to Somalia and you see, how do these kids, and you say to yourself, how do these kids easily become these killers? Because their environment right now, all they know is violence.
Right.
So now if the environment, all they know is violent, it's easy for them to catch on to these violent attitudes.
Right.
But I guarantee you this, a lot of times when you're dealing with a lot of foreign countries, and I think Munchie brought this up earlier, because I think I said this a long time ago, we got to realize this. Here in America, we have the worst tendencies. A lot of foreign countries, even though stuff happens, at least it happens for a cause. You know what I'm saying? When I think about this, I would have more respect for a suicide bomber than I have for the dudes that pass and slender around on YouTube and throw it out like candy. Because at least they have a cause.
Facts.
Anybody ever want to ask these YouTubers that do all this slander and dissing, what are they cause? And then now, if you really dig deep into their life, you will see it is what it is. The same things they try to push on you, that's them. I'm going to say Logic gay, but I told everybody I spent 8 years in prison. But Logic gay. Or I want to say that Logic broke. And Logic rented all his computers and he rented everything in his house. But when you look at it, you ask yourself, either he don't have it, or, and see now, that's where abuse come from. He want to mentally abuse me or pass out in the form of mental abuse on me, but it's because what he's experiencing himself is his household. Now he want to deflect it to me and sell it, and everybody's not looking and saying, well, you know what? The signs that you're trying to say that Logic got, I'm looking at it in you.
Right.
I'm looking at it in you. That's why we miss it. We got to identify the signs. If we see that somebody always calling somebody gay.
Yep.
They always want to throw that abuse.
Yep.
Maybe we should think to ourselves that, dang, he didn't call every person that he so-called have beef or conflict with. He wanted mentally abuse them with this gay word. And then it come back to it. Nobody's asking the question, why is everybody gay? Why do men beat women? They want to pass that same pain to the woman that they have. A man would not put his hand on a woman if he's not experiencing pain himself. He hit that woman for a reason. He wanted to put his pain on her. That's abuse. That's physical abuse. And then guess what? When you dig deep into it, it's the same thing with mental abuse. People mentally abuse other people because they want to pass the pain that they're experiencing instead of dealing with the pain themselves.
Facts.
Not fall back.
Nah, you on a roll, man. God, sound like Dr. Phil or something. Yeah, you on it. Hey, I just lost train of thought. Just trying to in tune with what you were saying, man. Hey, look, I'm glad you brought this is where I want to say. I'm glad you brought that up. Now, I'm glad he brought it up. It's not just in the inner city. See, this is something that it could be in the richest of the richest, in the poorest of the poorest, in the inner, the outer, in the states, out the states. It could be anywhere. It's just not one particular point of view or narrative. It could be anywhere and hit anybody's doorstep. And I'm glad he brought that out, because most people, they would want to say, "Oh, it's just in the hood that this stuff." No, it's not. You got rich people that carry on like this. You got rich people that are abusive because of their money. Come on, man.
Yes.
They play mental games with you because they got money. They play physical games because they got money. It just doesn't have to be, poor. Doesn't have to be ghetto. Does not have to be poverty. That's a poor way to look at it. And if you associate those things and just stay right there with it, that's a poor way to look at the narrative. It means you're missing the mark. You're missing what we're saying. You're missing the whole brunt of what this is about. See, abuse doesn't have any color. It doesn't have any name. It doesn't have any target. It just goes wherever it wants to go, and it does whatever it wants to do. But whoever's behind the driver's seat controlling it is the one that is trying to gain the power. You feel me? The one who...
Or control the narrative.
Or control the narrative, right.
Yep.
You see? That's how it rolls. That's how it goes. Indigenous, I was looking for you, bro. I knew you was going to come in on this one. So that's how it goes. The person that wants that control to be in the driver's seat at all times is going to be that one that is going to do the abusing, do the bashing. They're going to do the necessary things to suppress the person that they want to abuse. When it comes to females, they tend to get abused because men think that they're easy targets. See, a man can't abuse another man up to a certain point. Now we can go there. We could talk about men that abuse men. And it doesn't even have to be in a relationship manner. Okay? You got men that have not learned how to conduct their behavior, so they abuse any and everybody. So another male could be abused. He could be abused physically and mentally. You feel me? Yeah. Doesn't have to be in a relationship. Think about when you was in school. Think about the young dudes in school that was picked on. Mental abuse. Have you ever seen the little nerds get picked on in school? That ain't just on TV. That ain't something that's just on some type of reality shows. No, that's real. I've seen little nerd guys get picked on. I had to defend a couple of these dudes once upon a time when I was in school. Just because I knew it was wrong.
The question we should be asking ourselves is this. Why do the nerds get bullied? Because they smart. And now, by them being smarter, then now I want to make you feel my dumbness. So now I want to inflict my pain on you, but it's my pain that I can't read as good as you. It's my pain that, you know what I'm saying, that I can't do math as good as you. You know what I'm saying? And I want to spin it on something else too, though. And then I'll use this example, though. But then when I was in Korea, and then what we'll see is that it was a lot of smart kids that was coming up. But their parents wasn't so smart. So now they parents mentally put this abuse on them and made them stay focused, made them like overabundance, just reading books and going and just overdid everything. But they was experiencing their parents' pain. You see what I'm saying? Like you ever saw like I mean, you sit in all kinds of situations. You sit in sports where I wasn't as good, so now I'm gonna inflict this on my kids to make sure that they're better than I was. And at times that will become abuse. Because now if you tell a kid he can't do this, he can't do this, he can't do this, he got to study, or don't worry about your books, it's no balance. And see, that's the thing when you're dealing with somebody who's actually, they have failure in their life, or they wanted to do things better in their life. So now it's not necessarily pushing and motivating kids, it's actually abusing that child. Because now that child cannot make their own decision. That child got to do what that parents say, and we got to look at it. That's abuse. That's overdoing it. Because if I sit here and overfeed a child, they'll say that's child abuse. But if I overfeed anything else, if I overindulge in everything else, they say it's okay.
Oh, God. So true. So true, my brother. So true. Yeah, you on point today, bro. Yeah, that was on the money right there. I agree 100% with that statement right there. Yeah, and I'm glad you bringing up some good points, bro. That point right there about you can overfeed a child and not call that abuse. See, and then how about this? How about when you take a child and you tell them that their parent is bad? That's abuse. See, if you take a child and manipulate that child and say, your father ain't no good, that's a form of abuse. In my eyes. Now, I might be wrong. Maybe I might be wording it wrong. But I think that's a form of abuse. Because anytime you're trying to mold the actions, the thoughts of another person, that's an abuse to me. That's what I think. That's what I would call abuse.
Exactly.
You feel me? Like if you tell, if a female, and I see this happen a lot, males know this happen, and I know females in the chat ain't going to disagree with this. This ain't something that's far out of the reach. When a female says your father ain't no good, he ain't this, he ain't that, he don't be there for you, that's a form of abuse because you're actually manipulating the mind of that child to feel a certain way. Okay? And then, not only that, but you got to remember, as they grow up and get older, that's a thought that's going to be there.
Exactly.
That's a thought that's going to be there. So now, not only are you going to treat another human being a certain way because of how somebody else molded your mind, now you're going to be able to carry that behavior into another relationship you may go in. How about that one? Huh? How about that? The next relationship you go in, you might treat them based upon how your mind was shaped and molded by either your mother or father when you was younger. And I can only speak on from my perspective, because I can remember at one point in time, you know, when I was younger, my father wasn't there, so I formed my own relationships in my mind about how about how my father was. So based upon males, when my cousins and I didn't have trust issues because I didn't have a male there. So the trust issues wasn't there. I didn't deal with you like that. Like when I was on the streets, I didn't deal with a lot of dudes like that. You know, I kept my balance. I had my friends and all, but there were certain people I just didn't rock with because the trust issue of not having a father there to reassure me that, hey, this is how you handle yourself in the street. This is how you handle individuals. This is what you look for. This is how you stay away from this. See, those things play a major role in your life. But females will use that card. Hey, your daddy ain't no good. His daddy ain't no good. You got a whole lineage of people who wasn't no good on your father's side. And then as you grow up, you come to find out that wasn't even the case. She kicked them out. She cheated. Or I'm just using this as an example. Don't hate me, females. But I'm just saying, those things could have been narratives that happened. And she never told the other side of the story, that the right way or the correct way.
Yeah, but see, in my opinion, a lot of times, like them things, like with a child, you should never tell a child that the opposite parent is a low down dirty dog, that they no good. Because the thing about this, if that person or that parent is a low down dirty dog, then the kid would experience it for themselves. But see, if you're telling them that, you're trying to control the narrative. You're trying to inflict your pain on that kid so that kid can look at a certain way to the other parent. So now the same thing when we, no matter what we talk about in this situation, and if you can do it as a man, doing it to a child, saying that, hey, your mama ain't no good, or a man doing it to a woman doing it to a child, either which way, you're trying to inflict your pain on that child so now they can take it out and give it to somebody else.
Right.
And so what we got to realize is once you teach them that, they have that for the rest of their lives.
Facts.
You can't constantly tell them that they dad a dirtbag, you know what I'm saying, for the last 15 years. And then now he's not going to know every little tendency, every trick in the book about that. And then now he's going to become that. So now you're trying to inflict pain on the man or the woman by doing that type of behavior to the child, but actually you abusing that child, and now they'll grow up and then they'll become an abuser too. And that's what we see. We got to realize that a lot of times we're taught a lot of things and we don't even realize it. Our brain is the most powerful weapon that we have. It's the most powerful weapon on earth, because without us knowing it, it's pulling in data. It's retaining information. Fact. And now by it retaining information, everything that happened around us, it goes in our data bank, and now it creates us.
Facts.
So that's why I bang so hard on our tendencies, because our tendencies as a black race, it's what's creating us. Our tendencies as a black race is creating these abusers. It is, because they learn these how to become an abuser through their environment, and then the environment can be their neighborhood, it can be their household. You know what I'm saying? And then in 2017, we got to watch out, because our environment can also be the internet and social media also.
Right. That's true. That's true, my brother. That is definitely true. Man, you are on the money, man. I'm trying to.
Oh man, I gotta be doing good today. Thankfully, Sunday agree with me. She don't never agree with me.
She been agreeing with you the whole time, bro. Yo, you on the money today, man. You are on the money today. You are on the money. Nah, I mean, see, when people get the wrong perspectives of what you, of who you are and what you say, I think sometimes they're just grabbing information about people who have the likeness of you that they may have had some encounters with. So they'll base that opinion based upon their past experiences and opinions. But if you actually listen long enough to hear what a person says and how they are and how they interact with you, then you might have a better judgment of character and opinion about somebody, you know? My father was an abusive father, or yes, he was, to a certain degree, to my mother, you know? And can I say I inherited that type of stuff? I can say this. If I have not came into myself to know that the behavior like that is not accepted, that behavior would not be seemly for my kids to see. If I hadn't came into that, then maybe I would take after him, or have or maybe I would have taken those type of steps to be like him. But I know I don't want my kids to see what I've seen. I don't want that. And that right there was enough for me to say I can't behave like that, even if I wanted to, because I don't want my children to experience that. That was enough right there. You know, wheel kicks and uppercuts and stuff. Who wants their children to experience seeing that type of behavior? Mother bloody, like that Tina Ike, that Ike and Tina thing there, like I showed, how that was. That was crazy. But who in the world wants to see that at a young age like that and be introduced to that type of behavior? So I had to do some soul searching when I was a young teen, 16, 17, learning how to deal with my counterpartners. You know, my female friends. I had to learn how to be able to, you know, not be critical, not be judgmental, even though I thought I was the smoothest thing on the planet. You know, Ace thought he was real smooth. But I had to learn how not to carry behaviors that was destructive and that was tearing down the females. How can you say you respect the female and tear her down when they're the ones who bring life and who, through their womb, bring life? I mean, come on. It just doesn't add up, man. It doesn't add up. What you think?
Now, I think you're spot on, man. I mean, I think this turned into a good bill. Yeah. And I mean, to be honest with you, a lot of times the good bill is the ones that touch home the most. You know what I'm saying? And in that, for me, this is something that touched home because I experienced, you know what I'm saying, factions of this in my life. And I remember coming up, you know what I'm saying, that I am my father. Hey, and I would be the first. It's not a shame about it. You know what I'm saying? I would tell anybody that you know what, that I was maybe 26 years old when I first met my father. So, but to me, it was bad, but it came out to be good. Because now that's one less, and I don't know if he would have gave me some bad tendencies, but his rap sheet, I was glad I didn't get that additional baggage, if that makes sense.
All right, I can see what you're saying.
But the thing about this is that I learned to, and I taught myself this, that in order to be successful, you have to be honest with yourself and say something is not working. That's the biggest thing that you have to do. In life in general, you have to be honest with yourself to say, I messed up. This is not working. Now, or you can be the other person, and this the line that people go from being uplifting, productive citizens to actually abusers. Because on all forms, look at everything you look at media, look at everything. What you see is abusers. People don't attack issues, they attack the person. And this is the line when you draw when you got to go between an abuser.
Man, that's
it goes to when you say this. You got to say, hey, I want to say this. I messed up. And now, by you stating you messed up, you looking for a correct route. You're finding a correct route. But imagine a person that never admits that they're messed up. Imagine a person that never admit that they had holes in their childhood. Imagine a person that never fess up and say that they're doing stupid stuff.
Right.
That's a person who will always blame everybody for what's going on with them. That's a person that always will try to put their hurt on other people. That crossroad is what we have to identify. And at that crossroad, we got to identify that. That's why you see me to say this word all the time. Accountability. Because if you become accountable, what you'll end up doing is you will start fixing yourself. And a lot of times the problems didn't come from you, didn't invent the problems. We understand that. But the problems are surrounding you. The problems in your environment. So now you got to say, hey, look, that's bad for me. Now let me find another way to do this. And then now you'll get on that correct path. But if you say, nah, it's okay, I'm gonna blame somebody else for that. Then now you continue to blame everybody else for your pain. You continue to put your pain on other people. That's why we in this situation we're not. The earth is full of abusers.
Yeah, you ain't never lied about that. You got so many people that are carrying these behaviors and tendencies to abuse. It's like, when does the behavior correct itself? When do people get back in line when it comes to this? Because whether you young or old, at some particular time you've experienced abuse. Let's be real. Let's get honest and real. At some particular time you experience some type of abuse to some degree. I mean, it's nature in it's part. I'm not saying it's part of nature, but it actually happens. And I don't really know too many people that haven't been under the hand of an oppressor or somebody who's been doing some type of abuse. I just don't really know too many people that have not been. Most of the people I have experienced some type of abuse from one degree to another. They have. And now it's not only that, but how do you excuse me, y'all, Todd. How do you correct the behavior, and how do you go about rectifying the damage from that behavior? I mean, do people that have been abused for 15 years straight, do they got to go to some type of therapy? People that have been in abusive relationships for a couple of 3 or 4 years, do they got to go get mental, help, correction or something like that? Like, what are the steps for a female that has been abused for a long time? What is the medicine that she needs to get back to normalcy? What are the things that the steps in the road she needs to walk to be able to get back to her normalcy? Because an abuser strips you of everything. They strip you of who you are, strip you of what you have. They tear you down. So what do women do to get back onto that road of who they used to be, what they used to love, the things they used to like to do? Like, how do they go back to doing that? And those are the things I want to talk about. Maybe it might be a part 2. I don't know. If you're tired, you want to end it, we can end it. If you want to try to get into some of the breaking down maybe the steps to how they get back, then we can do that. But if you want to do a part,
good. It's you. It's 3:43 here.
Oh, okay. No, I'm just saying. I mean, hey, it's up to you. We can actually get some help from the chat room as well. And me and Logic will both read comments out, so that way, if I miss something, he'll pick it up, and we can. You know what I mean? Like, hold on, I'm looking at some stuff. Okay, cool. So this is what I'm saying. I think that it would be healthy to seek some type of outside help other than family or mother or grandmother or something. I think that's healthy. I don't think that's something to be ashamed of. You feel me? Love and peace. What's up? I don't think that's something to be ashamed of. I think that if a female or male, if they say, well, look, man, I need to go and see a psychiatrist and talk to a psychiatrist about some of this behavior that I was under oppression with. You know what I mean? Maybe that's a good idea. I don't know. I'm just saying.
But see, in getting help, the first step is you have to take accountability. If you're a woman in abuse, don't mean you got to take accountability for what you did, but you got to take accountability for what happened and how you got there. Let's use this comparison, right? Say if me and you had a contest, right? We said that we're going to build a roof, and by us building the roof on this house, we're going to see who will build the best house, right? So now we build a house. You build a house, and we're trying to see which one lasts the longest. So now, you living in your house, your roof started leaking, right? So now, in order for you to sit here and move further, you got to admit that your roof is leaking. Now, if your pride that you stay in that house and let your family stay in the house with that roof leaking, because you don't want to admit that you lost, or you don't want to admit that you did something wrong, you made a misstep. That's the issue. Because we're living in these conditions or we create these situations because we don't want to admit. We don't want to admit that, you know what, we made a mistake. And it might not have been us. It might have been our parents. It might have been our grandparents. But mistakes was made. In order to move forward, you have to admit that mistakes was made. For a woman, she has to reassess herself. She has to say, what did I see in this man? What did I miss in this man? What are the signs in this man? So now by her understanding that, she taking that accountability and say, you know what? Even though he beat me physically, mentally, all that, what mistakes did I make? Now, and not saying that she had to do something crazy, but what type of judgment mistake did she make? Because she missed something. You don't just pick up on somebody and just say, hey, look, you know what? You didn't see none of the signs and symptoms. No, they there. You might not be educated on them. But see, that's what we need to educate. That's that crossroad we talk about right now. Because a lot of times when you see women that go through abusive relationships, they go from their abusive relationship into another abusive relationship.
Facts.
If you see a man that have a kid, you know what I'm saying, and lead the kid to the parents, no support, you will see him do it again. Fact. So now it's not like he's a deadbeat dad to one child. No, most likely he's probably a deadbeat dad to 8 of them.
To 8 of them. Facts.
And that's the split in the road. We're not looking and sitting here and doing an assessment and saying, you know what, I messed up. So now let me strip myself of all the crap I learned in my life because it's not working for me. Let me strip myself of all this crap. And now once I strip myself of all this crap, watch what happens. I will start making momentum because and I say this and I fall back. But the best saying that's ever been said is that this: if a blueprint don't work, then make a new one. Try again. But if you still building on that blueprint that does not work, and then you can use this for anybody. You can use this for any tool that anybody try to sell. Hell, you can use it for having these drama stars. They utilizing blueprints that don't work. And you can backtrack and you can see that they've been doing the exact same thing their entire life. Failing. And I fall back, bro.
Yeah, and one other thing, yeah, no doubt your sweet place. How did this get 11 dislikes? Haters.
Oh my God, I didn't even see that.
Haters. I didn't even see that either, but you know they hating. They hate it. They hate me, man. I bring stuff out. See, I was killing how some of these YouTube dudes slander women, bash women, curse them out, say all of this stuff before the public. And you mean to tell me I would not think that they themselves have a whole lot of abuse in them? They're abusers. I just lost my train of thought, man. It was something important I wanted to say. Oh, hotlines. Do you think hotlines are good for women to reach out to? You think that would be a good thing for them to do? And could remedies like self-medicating themselves of the abuse, do those things work? And I wish that Conceited Bristol was still in here because she said she was in a 15-year relationship and she just got a 15-year abusive relationship, and she been out of it for a year now. And she was stating that, it's the best she ever felt. But, I wish she was here to actually give us some of the steps of how she got through that. What was the things that she did to kind of rid herself of the mental and the physical trauma that she dealt with.
I mean,
Tiffany,
it's with I don't know. I guess one of the sisters need to come up here and say something.
Tiffany Smith said, yes, anything to get you in a better place. Right, but does it really work? Because some people will hear this right now, but go right back into the relationship and get the abuse. Some people will hear this right now and feel like there is no other alternative but for it to go bad or go wrong or somebody to die. Like, these are things that people really think. And to be honest with you, I think one of the things Logic says that stuck out to me would be they have to be honest with themselves. Because the woman will think that they can change the man. That's one of the things that you got to realize. You cannot change an individual that has this type of behavior, man. You cannot do it. And the fact that anybody would sit and think that they can correct somebody else's behavior without them first acknowledging that they need to change, without acknowledging that they're in the wrong, that's crazy, because that type of behavior will continue unless something dramatic happens to open their eyes to the level of abuse that they're applying on somebody or putting on somebody. So, like I was saying, if you're not, you'll go to say, yes, sir, you are strong-willed, and if not, you will go back to the rabbit hole. Facts. I agree with that. And then I think that if you start to take on the likeness of that abuser, then in both aspects it's dangerous. Because then what if you got kids? Will you start abusing the kids? See, because I found that to be somewhat of a narrative that when people that have been abused and they have kids, they do a lot of abusing to the kids, right? Sweet said, did you touch on the upbringing or the other exposure to abusive behavior came late? Yes, we did, Sweets. We got it, man. We've been hitting a lot of good stuff. Yeah, we went in deep to a lot of good points, you know. And then look, we hit a whole lot of stuff. Now think about this. When you talk about bipolar, with people with schizophrenia, certain behaviors, like, that's a touchy situation, because if you deal with a person that has those type of, like, bipolar behavior and schizophrenia behavior, you got to know the person you getting in a relationship with. I mean, these things are important. You just can't say, oh, that person has a nice exterior, like they're handsome or fair to the look or whatever. However you describe the person you like. You can't really just say and stop at that. You got to dig deeper into some history. Talk to friends. Talk to neighbors. Whatever you think it would, whatever you think can get you closer to the truth about who's behind the face of the person. Okay? You feel me? Like whatever will get you closer to the reality of who the individual is that you're intertwining with, man. You got to do some digging. You got to. And if he gets offended by you digging in his business, then that's a red flag. That hightail out of there. Hightail out of there. Get out of there. If they get mad because you're digging or trying to find out a little bit more about them, hightail. Get out of there. Don't even entertain them. You feel me? If a person shows you those signs that he has the potential behavior of being an abusive person, don't sit there and try to convince yourself that they'll get better. Don't try to convince yourself that you can change them. See, because now you're going to enable them to continue the behavior. Don't enable nobody. If somebody's behavior is not where it should be, or they're acting out or doing things, you can't guide them to the right professional help, hightail it out of there. Don't stick around. Don't, you know. Man, my nose is somebody talking about me like a dog right now. You feel me? Don't sit there and try to convince yourself that they'll change or that you can help them. As much as you would love to help and save everybody, you just can't. They have to actually go about the steps of getting their help themselves or directing them to the help. Because people will sit there and say, I want to change, but I can't. Or they might be like, or they might mention something like, I'm going to go get help. But if they're not actually taking the steps to do it, why waste your time? Why get involved in a roller coaster ride or emotional ride about what can actually happen or can't happen? Why even involve yourself in that emotional roller coaster ride? You feel me? Because that's what it would be. A roller coaster emotional ride. People want to take you on that stuff because of how they grew up or how they've been in that type of relationship. What about older men manipulating younger women and trying to take advantage of younger women? Abusive. Form of abuse. Sugar daddies. Trying to use their money and use their material things to get younger girls. Abuse. Because my thing is, what is a younger female going to do with an older dude other than just have relations? Think about it. Think about it. If you're 30 years, twice the senior of somebody, and you're trying to have a relationship with them, what else are y'all building on? I mean, what? You trying to start a family? He's 60 years old and you're 20-something years old. What are you doing? What? You trying to start a family with this man? He'll be dead before the children even get 10 years old. Think about it. So you got to realize that type of abusive behavior, seeking and searching to try to, get a younger partner, or vice versa, female being a cougar, getting a younger male. That type of behavior is abusive. Logic, if you can hear me, what you think about that? That one particular aspect, because we didn't hit on that. But I think that it would be good to shed some light on that. Oh, he on the phone. Oh, that would be good to shed some light on that, because people don't see it as abuse. They just see it as their heart. Oh, I love this person. Oh, my heart is saying I want to be with him. Oh, I need... But I think it's abuse. I think it's abuse. If they're more than 20 years your senior, then what are you trying? What are you doing? I mean, like, come on. Like, let's be real. What are you doing? If they're in their if they're in their younger teens, 14, 15, 16, and you in your late 30s, what are you doing with that individual? Like, let's be honest. What are y'all going to do? What are y'all going to talk about? Mentally, y'all on two different levels. As much as you try to put yourself on the same level as that younger person, you can't. Because it's two light years away. While you're trying to talk about grown-up things, they're going to be on high school bubblegum type stuff. You feel me? And I'm just saying, right now, I've seen so many different things out here on these streets with older guys trying to get the attention of younger girls. And with doing that, all they're doing is abusing and setting that person up for failure, or that young girl up for failure later on down in her life. because emotionally she's not going to be able to deal with the pressures that an older individual will start to bring. Okay? When that young girl want to go to college, or when that young girl want to do things with her life, and that older person is set in their ways and can't keep up with the energy of a younger person, the first thing that's going to happen is that younger person is going to have an attachment to the older person.
Well, see, I think, Ace, with that abuse, I think it go both ways. Because when you look at it like this, is that a young woman, why would she want to be with an older man? And it's probably because he's more established financially. You know what I'm saying? He got a lot of stuff in line that somebody in her age group won't have. So now, even though that he would abuse her in a lot of ways by neglecting her, but you know what I'm saying? He's looking at her because she's a young tenderoni or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And then everything is good. Somebody that his age, everything, you know what I'm saying, is not so good. He ain't been with nobody. So now, both situations, in this situation, both people are in some fashion abusing the other one, because she's putting her pain on him because she's not able to have these things so he can give it to her. So now she's using him. And at the same time, he know that he can get a young tenderoni, you know what I'm saying, in a light like that at his age. So guess what? He's throwing stuff at her, but he's taking a lot of stuff away from her too, though. So this goes both ways in this situation, in my opinion. But I mean, the thing about it, you got to come down to it. And I think we had talked about this before, didn't we?
No, I don't think we did. But no, listen. If a person is 13 years old, right, or 14 or 15, and this person is 30 years old or in their 40s.
Oh man, yeah.
That's what I was talking about, Logic. So think about it.
Oh yeah.
If it's that 20, 30-year gap in between ages, or 20-year ages gap between those ages, then how can mentally you expect a younger person like that to mentally deal with you or challenge you mentally? It's no way they can. It's always going to be a mismatch. You know, when she's trying to play hopscotch and double dutch and all that stuff, you thinking about grown up stuff. But then what about when she's ready to do or venture and do some things? There's still going to be an attachment to you. That's how these young girls that get attached with older guys, for some reason or another, when they get a little older until they either have babies or they are promiscuous to no end, because they're still trying to find that love like they got when they was in their innocence. Now, if I'm wrong, I want y'all to say, hey, Ace, I disagree with you. But if I'm right, put a 1 in that chat. If what I just said you agree with, at least put a 1 to acknowledge, hey, Ace, I agree with that particular statement. Because this is happening right now under our nose, right on our doorstep, right in our schools, right beside our children on the school bus, and so forth. And I appreciate the ones, y'all. That's what I'm saying. It's happening. But people close their eyes and not say that's not abuse. They'll just say, oh, it's relationships. Or they'll say, no, it's just love. I don't think so. Because why can't you find somebody to love your own age? Why can't you find somebody to love that's even remotely close to your age? I mean, maybe it's a 4 or 5 year difference. That's better than saying 20 and 30 year difference when she's in her teens and you are a full grown adult. Come on. Think about that. And the fact that people try to make relationships like that work, it's abuse to the full extent. It's abuse. It's no way to justify it. No grown man should even have a desire for a fit. I don't care how well endowed she is or how built she is. If she's 13, 14, 15, you should not have a desire to want to be with her on no level. That's abuse. and pedophilia tied in the same egg roll. I was trying to think of something to say. But, yeah. And it's crazy because people think these type of things can last, first of all. And these type of people think that this in itself is acceptable. And I think we did talk about a little bit of this. Not to this extent, Logic. We was talking about the hood, like when people in the hood turn a blind eye to. Yeah, we talked about this similar, but not this deep. But Titan, what's good? Titan, man. He enjoying himself, man. He enjoying his build, but because look, when real men, and I hate to say real men but when men are on their square, they are passionate about this type of stuff, you know. And I know Titan, man. I seen his son and his family and stuff because we was on the live one time, and he showed me his family. You, Logic, myself, like we might be compassionate about this stuff because we family men. We do what we do. We family men. So when we have a chance to address and approach this on the behalf of females, we are passionate about it. And I can understand him not wanting to go to sleep because that right there is like, you know, you want to help the sisters. Like, come on. You want to be there for the sisters. You want to help them. You feel me? Because this type of stuff, man, is not warranted in our communities. It's not warranted in anything that we deal with in our life. We don't want it. We don't want this type of behavior. We don't want people to be abused and to be taken advantage of, and their life to be dictated by somebody who is screwed up in the head because of something somebody else did. When are we going to cut the strings of the patterns of this behavior? Like, when is this going to happen? When are we going to cut the cord and the strings, cut the umbilical cord of this type of behavior so we can be able to function with normal capacity, function like a normal human being? And I'm not going to say like a normal human being because I say things and y'all might say, well, what does a normal human being act like? But all I'm saying is function like you. Come on, Elijah, you're supposed to be putting words in my mouth for me.
No. I'm with you. I was just waiting on the moment you let me cut in.
Okay, well, go ahead and get in there because I can't find the word to end it.
Yeah, no, because I just really, I mean, it's sad though, but it's my opinion that we'll never be able to get to that solid ground because we will never come close. The only people that come close is the people that's saying that, hey, look, you know what? I understand what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And I'm willing to do something about it. So, you know what I'm saying? Think about this. In all them situations that you named, when you talk about the 14-year-old girl dealing with a older man, you know what I'm saying? People know about it. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, it's not like they doing something behind. A lot of times people know about a lot of things. So now it's up to the people. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, a lot of times the people can close out stupidity, but the people, the one that accept it.
Yeah.
The people right now, if we wanted to, we can shut down every stupid thing that's going on in the world. We can shut down every stupid thing that's going on in life on YouTube. If the people wanted to, we can stop it. Every form of abuse. The only person that can stop it is the people. I'm just saying. All these YouTubers that's running around abusing other people, the only people they'll stop if, guess what? They didn't have an audience. If they didn't have an audience, if nobody listened to their abuse, then the abuse wouldn't exist.
Facts. And look what Sweet said. Look what Sweet said. She said, it's hard because I know women who just prefer older men. No abuse background, well-established, and nothing negative in their childhood. Just their preference. And I understand that. Now, okay. Now, if you say they're 10 years, the male might be 10 years older, Okay, but when you're talking about 15, 16, 17, potentially 18, and these people are in their 40s and 50s or 30s and 40s and 50s, you got to think about the mental capacity of that person that they're trying to gain control over. Because that's the only thing I can see as why they would want to deal with somebody that young, deal with somebody still in their innocence of age. Even if they wasn't innocent, but they're still in the age, in the bracket of innocence. You feel me? Even if they was promiscuous, it's still the age of innocence. You know, when they become an adult, 19, 20, 21 and all that stuff, then their decision making probably could be a little bit better. But when you're trying to target little people like 15, 16, 17 years old, their life have not begun yet. And maybe that's just me, but I see it in that because I got a 19-year-old daughter. You know, and
I think she talking about in hers the women that's of age.
Right. And basically, yeah, I kind of knew she was talking about that.
Yeah,
I kind of knew.
And then do you blame the women that's of age now? Because look at who they got to deal with.
Young guys that only want Molly's and Percocets.
Yeah, they got to deal with clients.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. We got to cut the behavior. We have to, because it starts when they're in their younger adolescent age. When do we cut the behavior of the abuse so we can start producing healthy-minded individuals? And this is why this is so important to be talked about, because those type of behaviors, when they're young, it's hard to get it out of them as they begin to get older. Where did they learn how to pour it on a girl? Where did they learn how to throw dollars at women while they stripping, pouring drinks over their head, calling them names, disrespecting them, you know, trying to slip Mickeys in their drink, Molly's in their drink so they could take advantage of them? Where does this behavior, where is it learned, and how do they pick it up? They're picking it up as they're younger and getting older. So now the abuse begins. But we got to cut the behavior. We got to make sure that we are on top of our game, man. We got to make sure in our families, in our neighborhoods, maybe it might be some friends, kids, whoever, maybe it might be a question you can ask just to see where their mindset is. Yep. Maybe it's something you can ask a person or a younger adult about, what do you think about this? Just to see where their mind is. Start the ball rolling somewhere. Maybe you can ask, like, you know, what you think about this question? What do you think about somebody who, you know, tries to impose their will upon you in a form of abuse, or in a form of bringing you down, or in the form of, you know, bashing your character or something? I mean, something you can talk to somebody else about. Maybe they might be younger. And there are adults right now dealing with this, whether you know it or not.
Yep.
That's true. Sweets, that's definitely true. A man will do as much as a woman will allow. Facts. And the mere fact that there's a lot of women as we speak that are willing to deal with this type of behavior and abuse is scary, because they think they can change the individual. I will go back to that a little bit. And I'm gonna end the live stream in a minute, y'all. We ain't gonna be too much longer. But yes, people that stay in these relationships for long periods of time, they think, number one, that the person will change themselves, and number two, that they can change the person. You feel me? Oh, he will change. Oh, they will change. It's just a phase, or they're just going through something. But what if you die before they change? What if your whole career and life go down the drain before somebody change their abusive ways towards you? Are you willing to gamble with that? Are you willing to push the risk of that happening? Rather than saying, you know what? I understand I'm seeing these patterns, and let me cut ties before it gets serious. But that's why it should happen in the investigation process of you courting rather, or whatever. That is the period where you try to figure this stuff out. Don't wait till you get into a 5-year relationship and he done gave you 20 black eyes and 9 hospital visits. I'm just saying. Wheel kicks and uppercuts and backhands. I mean, come on. This stuff is real and it's happening. You know?
Yep. Was it true?
Yeah. Oh, so I'm gonna let Logic give and read Your Sweet Place. Read Sweet's comment, and then I'm gonna let you do the last rights. Call everybody out, and we're gonna end this. And if you want to do something different, let me know. If you want to open a hangout talk, whatever you want to do, let me know, and then I'll adjust. But just get her comment out the way, and
No, she right though. You know what I'm saying? Like immediately, a man know. You know what I'm saying? And men that's listening to this know exactly what we said. As soon as you meet her, you know that the potential, or you know what you're looking at from her. You know what I'm saying? So you know that if you want actually to pursue some type of relationship with her, and then I want to even go. I mean, yeah, you know, if you want just a little one night stand, you know this. So, I mean, she's right. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it goes in deep to like what I was saying earlier about the environment. You know what I'm saying? Our environment don't teaches our women self-worth. You know what I'm saying? Our environment teaches our women the exact opposite. You know what I'm saying? Our environment teaches our women that, hey, you know what, it's okay to take this and take this from a man. It's okay to get bashed. It's okay to do this. It's okay to be looked at as a, you know what I'm saying, a sex symbol. And I can say that because guess what? I was the one that was doing it too. But you gotta realize this, is that I also learned where I got that from. I got that from, that's nothing that I was born with. I got that from my environment. My environment taught me a lot. 8-Ball MJG taught me a lot. Yeah, Outkast taught me a lot. And then now we got to realize, until we realize that, then we could be talking all day. Because we got to fix our environments, because our environments make us, and our environments make these men into abusers. And I'm not giving them no pass for being an abuser, but it makes men into abusers. And on the same token, is our environment make women into abusers. Because now, you can't trust no nigga though. You know what I'm saying? All of the songs, you know what I'm saying? You gotta pay my telephone bill, all that. That's an abuser too. Destiny Child taught women how to abuse men. And the same way, all other forms of music taught men how to abuse women. And if we stay in the same circle spinning around until we get to the facts that we got to fix our environment, we got to fix our music, we got to fix a lot of different elements that make us. You know what I'm saying? Your household make up a certain percentage of, you know what I'm saying, how a child come out. And if we look at that, everybody's abusers. You just have to be honest with yourself and say, you know what? Hey, I am an abuser in some type of way. Now, I identify that. Let me correct it. And I think that's the most important part.
Facts. Facts. Man, I think this was just an awesome broadcast live stream, man. Very, very, very informative. There was a lot of things brought out. Man, hopefully somebody can see this. Maybe some person, some female, some male, somebody can see this and actually appreciate what we discussed. This might be some medicine for somebody. I don't know, but I hope that it reaches the ears and the eyes of an individual that would appreciate the time that everybody took on this platform, the time that everybody took in the chat, the time that we all came together to build to bring this particular situation to some light. So I appreciate everybody, man. It's always love. Always love. Unity, no hate. Unity, no hate. Unity, no hate, y'all. And I respect my brother Logic coming on, and I respect him always for just being part of the build, man. He gave a whole lot of energy to this one. He was on fire today. Believe that. Believe that. He was on fire. And I appreciate his perspective on what we talked about. And that's jewels for y'all. You know, we was dropping some jewels here and there. And, you know, much respect. So if you want to call everybody out, Elijah, be my guest. Go ahead and hit the roll call. But if you don't want to be called out, just put a 2 in the chat. Put a 2 in the chat if you don't want to be called out.
I ain't gonna call them out, man, because you know you got these different individuals.
Yeah, because
that actually going
because Tiffany Smith was harassed, man, by some trolls because she was in our page. So if y'all don't want to be, yeah, man, they was harassing her.
Wow.
Yeah. She had to even change her Facebook stuff and all that because they was harassing her real bad. So that's why
they went that far?
They went that far. That's why I'm asking from here on out if anybody wants to be shouted out, because once the live stream is over, they can't see what they type, but they actually can hear us conversing with them. So maybe if they hear us conversing and saying certain names and this and that, they might go to their page and harass them. So let's kind of like, if you want it to be shouted out, no problem. I don't have no problem. But if you don't, we won't. But it is sad that people do that and harass people. So, you know, it's very sad, man. But I sad. Okay, cool. So I just appreciate all of you guys. Much love to you. Much respect to you. Hope your night goes well. And always, like I like to say, I appreciate you for coming by. You could have been anywhere else doing any other thing, but the mere fact you took the time to be a part of this broadcast at this particular time shows me a whole lot. Love you guys. Love the input. Love the energy. Continue to stay up. Peace. This is Ace Boogie and Logic. We out.
Peace.
Peace.